Lori Vallow Daybell, the woman widely known as the Doomsday Mom, has captivated both the public's curiosity and the media's attention ever since her arrest for the murders of her two children, Joshua, J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. The case took a disturbing turn as investigators uncovered a series of chilling events surrounding the deaths of the young siblings, including their mother's involvement with her new husband, Chad Daybell, a doomsday preacher-turned-author who had his own apocalyptic beliefs. Despite her conviction for the murders, Lori maintains an unwavering belief that she will be exonerated, a statement she made in her first-ever televised interview after being convicted. Throughout her trial, Lori presented herself as a devoted mother and a woman with deep spiritual convictions, maintaining a level of detachment and denial about her involvement in the murders of her children. In her recent interview, which was conducted after her conviction but before sentencing, she offered a glimpse into her state of mind and the ongoing narrative she's constructed for herself. This narrative casts her not as a cold-blooded killer but as a misunderstood individual caught in a tangled web of circumstances, one she insists will eventually lead to her exoneration. The idea of being exonerated is not a new one for Lori. During the investigation, she repeatedly maintained her innocence, even as the evidence against her mounted. Law enforcement discovered that both of her children had been missing for months before their bodies were discovered on Chad Daybell's property in 2020. For months, Lori and Chad had evaded authorities, giving false statements and refusing to cooperate with the investigation into the children's whereabouts. The couple's behavior, along with their eerie obsession with apocalyptic theories, made them the focus of intense media scrutiny and public fascination. Lori's belief in her eventual exoneration seems to be rooted in her conviction that she is part of a larger cosmic plan, one that transcends earthly justice. During the trial, it was revealed that Lori and Chad believed in a set of bizarre spiritual teachings, including the idea that certain people were zombies, and that others had been chosen to fulfill divine purposes. This belief system, which also involved predictions of the end of the world, appeared to play a crucial role in shaping Lori's behavior. Her thoughts and actions, from the dismemberment of her family to her unbothered detachment as her children were dying, could be seen as influenced by the doctrine that, in her mind, justified her actions as part of a larger plan. However, despite the apparent evidence pointing to her guilt, Lori maintains that she is a victim of the media, the courts, and a miscarriage of justice. She portrays herself as someone whose actions have been misunderstood by the world at large, despite the fact that the trial revealed several damning pieces of evidence, including chilling text messages between her and Chad. In these messages, they discussed the children in a way that suggested they had already been eliminated from their lives. Lori's insistence on her eventual exoneration is puzzling, especially given the overwhelming nature of the evidence. It seems that her belief in her innocence is not rooted in a rational evaluation of the facts, but in a deep-seated faith in her own righteousness. She has consistently denied any wrongdoing, asserting that her children are in a better place. Her refusal to take responsibility for the deaths of J.J. and Tylee reveals a critical disconnect from reality, and the narrative she constructs in her mind serves to reinforce her belief that she is, in some cosmic sense, blameless. Part of Lori's belief in her exoneration may also stem from her association with Chad Daybell, whose own trial for the murders is set to follow. The two were deeply entangled in each other's lives, and Lori may have been influenced by Chad's apocalyptic beliefs and his promises of eternal life and divine justification. From her perspective, the trial and conviction may seem like a temporary setback in a grander spiritual journey. She may believe that, in time, the truth will be revealed, and the legal system will ultimately exonerate her. However, the psychological profile of Lori Vallow Daybell complicates this narrative. Experts who have followed the case suggest that her belief in her eventual exoneration may be a reflection of narcissistic traits and a deeply ingrained sense of superiority. Narcissistic individuals often see themselves as above reproach and have difficulty acknowledging any form of wrongdoing, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. Lori's actions throughout the investigation, her refusal to cooperate, and her continued insistence on her innocence may point to a larger psychological framework in which she sees herself as a martyr or a victim of misunderstanding. This belief in exoneration may also serve as a coping mechanism. For Lori, accepting responsibility for the deaths of her children could be psychologically devastating. Denial of guilt, in this sense, may offer a way for her to avoid confronting the horrifying reality of what she has done. Instead of accepting the gravity of her actions, Lori clings to a belief system in which she is the victim and the world will eventually recognize her innocence. The trial against Lori Vallow Daybell was a media spectacle, attracting widespread attention not just for the nature of the crimes but for the bizarre elements surrounding the case. The combination of doomsday beliefs, the strange relationship between Lori and Chad, and the grisly nature of the murders made it a sensational story. For Lori, the interview represents an opportunity to continue her narrative in the public eye. Her statements that she will be exonerated are likely an attempt to reshape her image, to position herself not as a criminal but as a misunderstood figure. This can be seen as part of her broader strategy to maintain control over her public persona and influence how she is viewed, even in the face of conviction. While Lori's legal team continues to explore options for appealing the conviction, the overwhelming evidence and the jury's decision suggest that the chances of her exoneration are slim. The trial was an arduous process that revealed the full extent of the depravity and horror that led to the deaths of 2 innocent children. For most, the verdict is seen as justice served. Yet for Lori, the journey seems far from over, as she continues to hold on to the belief that one day the system will recognize her innocence. This belief, however, may be more about maintaining a sense of control and self-justification than any realistic expectation of an overturned conviction. In her mind, Lori may see herself as a tragic figure, a person caught up in a grand cosmic plan beyond the understanding of ordinary people. In her view, the legal proceedings against her are part of a larger struggle, one in which she will ultimately emerge victorious, exonerated and free to continue with her spiritual journey. Lori Vallow Daybell's conviction for the murders of her children has left an indelible mark on the public consciousness, and her claim that she will be exonerated is likely to remain a point of fascination and confusion. The case has raised important questions about the intersection of mental illness, religious extremism, and criminal behavior. While the legal system has rendered its verdict, the psychological and emotional underpinnings of Lori's actions are likely